on YouTube. So hello everyone. It is another episode of Travel the World as a Speaker. I am your host Phylecia Jones, and this is brought to you by iFind, where we actually go out and research speaking gigs for people and we make sure we deliver them to you. So you can go check us out at ifindclothes.com, and while you're there, why don't you think about getting like a free assessment? I mean, it's right at the beginning of the page. I would love for you to do that. All right, so we're going to be talking about the secret to getting on stage, and that is negotiating. It is Thursday. I think it's Thursday. We're going to be talking about negotiating, and I have to tell you that I really do have a splitting headache. So I don't know how long I'm going to last with all of this light in front of me. And for those of you on Instagram, as you can see, I have 3 hands. I don't know. I'm trying out all of the filters on Instagram. It's a little weird because it's for those of you on YouTube, it's a filter with a microphone in my hand. And maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll go try to find it for you. I could put it up here on the screen. It's gonna be really weird if I can get this to work, but that is what is going on right now. And I'm also gonna check my sound. Oh, my sound is pretty good, so I'm really excited about all of these little filters on here. Let's see if I can pull up this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm probably stressing out all of my everything that I'm doing right here. Oh, it says I'm live. Oh, let's see if we can make this happen. We have no sound. I don't know. Maybe it's working. All right. All right, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to share my screen here. Where am I going? I'm going to my left display. So this is what it looks like for everybody on YouTube. This is what it looks like, and it's pretty kind of weird. So I do have one hand, and I have 2 hands now. Ooh, I have 2 hands. Oh, I have 3 hands. I have 2 hands. So that was fun. And so we're going to stop all of this because I think my internet is not liking me at the moment. And it's also saying that I'm live on my own live stream. Hey me, how you doing? All right, that was a lot of fun. So let me go ahead and go back to the camera with the background. And for those of you on Instagram, I'm going to switch over to another filter. Not that one. This one is kind of cool. This one, I don't know. It just made me look beautiful all of a sudden. Jeez Louise, I wish that would happen more often. You know, if we could walk around with these filters on all day, we would love this. And for those of you on YouTube, as you can see, I pulled over to another screen so it looks like I have a head on a different body. Yeah, my body don't look like that. Maybe next year, after all this quarantining, maybe I can look like I do in my thumbnail over here. All right. For those of you who are here, thank you so very much. And as you can see, I try to keep this light and fluffy and absolutely wasting of your time. But we're going to do something really cool today. We're going to talk about negotiating when it comes to traveling the world as a speaker. And it's going to be so key that you pay attention to this negotiating bits and pieces. This is what all of this comes down to. You can have the prettiest website, you can have the best opt-in, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't matter if you don't know how to negotiate. I have learned this the hard way, and I've learned as I've gone. So it's not a hard thing to do. It's just a confidence thing, and you got to be willing and ready to negotiate. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Also, I promised I was going to give a travel story. I don't know if I have one yet. We're only into the first 10 days of this live stream. So I'm still trying to figure out my flow, still trying to figure out what kind of travel stories I can give you. I know I have tons and tons of travel stories. I mean, I have been robbed in different countries. I have been extorted by the police. I've had people walk off with my passport. You know, I was in one country where they wanted to fill out your passport information for you, and then they tried to ask you for money for it. I've been in situations where I didn't know how to use the bathroom. Yeah, it's interesting. And that was my first time when I went out of the country. I was in Morocco for the first time, and that was my first experience with those toilets that, the toilets that just have the foot pads. And I honestly, this is me young, traveling out of the country, not for the first time, but the first time in that part of the world. And I didn't know what to do. And so I just kind of held it for about 6 hours. That was a very rough trip trying to get back to Spain, get on a boat to get back to Spain. so that we could catch a flight. And it went so very wrong in so many ways. So wrong in so many ways. Was at the train station trying to sleep, got kicked out by the police. Yeah, so yeah, if you like those types of travel stories, I will definitely give you quite a few. It has nothing really to do with speaking. That's just pure straight travel stories. But I do have, I will say, when I have traveled for speaking, it has been less adventurous. None of my my travel for speaking type gigs have been that adventurous. I usually know where I'm going, and I'm in a place that I'm slightly familiar with. My last travel adventure was, I went to Orlando. I mean, gosh, you can't really get lost around Mickey Mouse. But out of the country, I was in Nottingham in the UK a year ago. Not a year ago. I forget, it's 2021 now. In 2019, I was in Nottingham. But I've been there so many times. It was just kind of, I don't know. I just knew what I was doing. I didn't have a hotel room. I just kind of booked as I went. I love those days. When can we get those days back? Can't wait for those days to get back to those days. But for now, I'm in the basement. All I have is a map. That's all I can do when it comes to travel. So for those of you, you see my map back here. Not this person over here. I don't know who that is, but I mean, she looks great. And only folks on YouTube can see that. Now, that's the map in the background. That's Awesome Maps. And I did my first live event, Pitch Lab. That's why I was in Orlando last year. That was the last trip I did before the world shut down, because the world shut down on my birthday. Oh, what a great way to celebrate things. All right, so stop wasting other time. Let's go ahead and talk about this negotiating thing. And I'm going to actually pull up a white screen. I'm going to try to do a whiteboard. I have this little doohickey thing that comes with my laptop, and I figured since I paid for the laptop that I can kind of write on, I should probably use it. Look at that. Look at me being effective. So what we're going to talk about today when it comes to traveling the world as a speaker is negotiating. Everything you want to do when it comes to growing your business, when it comes to speaking, is all about negotiating. If you don't ask, you don't know if you're going to get it. So this is one of the things I want you to first start off with when it comes to negotiating. And I know, I think last week we definitely talked about some books and things that I highly recommend. I recommend that you take a sales or negotiating class once a year. And if you can't do a class, read a book. The cool thing about all of these books out there is that people put all of their information in it, and that's why I like them. So you're going to have to read for comprehension and not for reading just to read for fun. But I highly recommend, you got to stay on top of your toes when it comes to negotiating. And the thing is, you got to know what you want to negotiate for. And then you have to position yourself. You really do have to position yourself so that you don't walk away feeling like, okay, what just happened? I mean, we've all been in those situations before where we're not really sure what just happened. Something happened and we think we're happy, and then like later on we're not happy. So here's how we're going to start every type of negotiating thing. Now, when it comes to speaking, there's two ways you're going to get into speaking. People either come to you or you go to them. I mean, that's it. You go to them or they come to you. Now, when you are going to them, you're definitely doing all the pitching and everything. So you have to kind of preset yourself up so that you can be in the right position to negotiate. Now, if they're coming to you, it makes the world a little bit easier. Oh, I see this thing. It gives me a beauty mark. Oh, how sweet. This is the filter that I have on Instagram. Okay, is it me? Or do these filters change every day? I think they change every day, because yesterday I had a party one and I was dancing. It was cool, and now it's not here anymore. I feel like really old saying this type of stuff, okay? And I do have this filter. I think I have a little heart right here. I thought it was like something on my face. I was about to start scratching my face off. Or trying to clean my lens over here. All right, enough of being distracted. All right, let's talk about this negotiating thing. All right, like I said, there's going to be basically two ways you get speaking gigs. You go to them or they come to you. No matter what, you still have to position yourself so that you can get the best return on whatever it is that you're doing. Now, for what we do over in iFind You Close, we actually send out speaking opportunities to people, and that means we're sending out either applications or the details so that you can contact a person so that you can start your pitch process. Now, the thing I will say about applications is it depends on how they do it. Now, you fill out the application, they get back to you, and they will kind of let you know, like, here are the terms for you to come and speak. You say yes or you say no. You move on. Everybody's great. That doesn't mean you can't ask questions. Now, one of the things, now, if you are doing applications, usually they tell you up front, like, look, this is what we have. This is what you're going to get. This is not what you're going to get. Don't ask for more. But it never hurts to kind of have a few things in your back pocket after you land the gig. Now, one of the things I will say, if you are doing cold pitching, meaning you're out there, you're just pitching, and then people come back and bite on you like, hey, this is interesting. We would love for you to come and speak for us. This is something that I really want you to pay attention to. You have to ask questions before you say yes to anything. If you don't learn anything else that I say, and I'm going to do a whole bunch of these videos, you may not even purchase anything that we have over at iFind You Close. I would love for you to subscribe to us over on YouTube. But even if you don't, here's the one thing that I want you to learn. You have to ask questions before you say yes. Before you say yes, ask questions. And this is where we kind of get ourselves into these little traps. It doesn't matter how we got the gig, application, we pitch, we did email pitch, we met somebody, or they came to us. What happens is we get so excited to say yes. We say yes, and people, they were like, we have this gig and blah, 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 blah. We're like, yes, 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 yes. That's all we hear. And then we get off the phone, we get excited, we tell our partner, we tell our spouse, we call somebody like, oh my gosh, I got this gig. And then next thing you know, you signing papers and you're like, wait a minute, wait. And the reason we get into that situation is because we did not ask enough questions. Now, if you have questions, make sure you put them in the comment box. For those of you on YouTube, all you got to do is put them in the comment box. For those of you on Instagram, all you have to do is put your questions in the comment box. Now, I am about to switch over to a different screen here on YouTube. And if you can't see what I'm doing because you're not on YouTube, guess what? You need to go to YouTube. So you can go to ifindyouclose.com/YouTube. That's where you can find me, because we are about to people. You want to know if it's gender non-conforming. You know, all of these things are. Is it going to be a room where it's gonna be very important for you to know pronouns? Now, granted, we should be all learning this stuff in regular life, but one of the things you do have to pay attention to, remember, as a speaker, your job is to come and dazzle this audience. You don't want to mess up people. You don't want people to get upset with you. You don't want to offend people. Now, this is something I've learned from emceeing events. I am a very careful MC. I want to know pronouns. I want to know how to say your name. I want to know who I'm talking to, because we've been to events where people didn't even try and they say your name wrong. Now, my name is Phylecia. It's spelled with a P, and I'm one of those people. I'm very sensitive to saying people's name correctly or addressing them properly. So when you are in these negotiating phases, when somebody says, I want you to come speak, you need to ask these questions. I know it may seem too much. I know it may seem too much, but you really do. You want to be a responsible speaker. You want to be a responsible speaker, trainer, whatever you're getting hired to do. And you want to leave a good impression. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you can go and be a diva if you want to, but divas are a lot to deal with. So that questions first before you say yes to anything. Before you say yes. This is how you set yourself up for the negotiating table. You need to know what you're dealing with. Now, if somebody comes and says, "Oh my gosh, this is we have 15 people, they're like around the block from where you live," and it's just like, okay, I can handle that. Or it may be virtual and you're trying to expand your business. All of these things are why you have to start asking, because it's really easy. And I know a lot of other speakers and a lot of people who work with speakers, they tell us, or they tell you, it doesn't matter. If they don't pay, walk away. I'm not one of those people. And the reason why is because I approach speaking very differently. To me, oh yes, I know it's all your intellectual property, your knowledge, all that kind of stuff. Granted, I get it. But I've always said, when it comes to speakers, one, you need to have a product, something to sell, because that's another leveraging tool or negotiating tool that you have in your pocket, where you can get a sponsor to purchase your books or your course or whatever for everybody in the room. But also, I'm not trying to speak so I can be in front of masses and masses of people. One of the main reasons why I did speaking was to leverage speaking to grow my business. This, to me, a lot of this stuff is a lot of marketing. And I need to be able to get in front of my people really fast, be able to convert. And that's one of the things I can do. I know how to convert from the stage. So sometimes I can make more money speaking for free, as long as I'm selling something, than actually getting paid. So that's where you really want to pay attention to what you are walking into before you say yes to anything. All right. Before you say yes to anything, you want to be able to set yourself up properly. All right. I'm going to check my sound here. Any questions on any of this? I mean, any questions? And let me know if it makes sense what I'm saying. And I have been there where you're just so excited to say yes, like, yay, I got a speaking gig. I said yes. And it's just like, before you say yes, just say, hey, this is really cool. I have a few questions. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions before I say yes? And, and people are pretty cool, and you want them to kind of let you know what's going on. You'd be surprised how you can avoid bad situations by asking these questions. I remember walking into one, I guess I don't know if I walked into it, but somebody did ask me to speak, and I had other things going on, and they just assumed that I was like, okay, this will be pretty cool. I do have a few questions first. And next thing you know, they have plastered me all over their event. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't say yes yet. And it didn't go very well, because I went back and started asking questions like, wait a minute, what am I doing? What's going on? All right, so I'm not getting paid. I would like to negotiate this other stuff. Because I sent over a contract. We talked about that on Monday. I sent over an agreement. Like, if I'm going to be doing this, I need to know what's going on. And I found out that they wanted me to be at their event for 2 days straight on a Sunday. I'm like, no, dude. And to speak for 10 minutes. Like, no, I'm not going to give you 2 days of my life for 10 minutes. And, and you told me I couldn't I couldn't promo anything. So that's why you need to ask these questions, so you'll know whether or not to say yes. And it has nothing to do with getting paid. I mean, if they have money, that's great if it's what you want. But you'd be surprised. You can walk away from a lot of gigs that will pay you that just don't even feel right. That's why you have to position yourself properly first. Qualifying questions. If you don't take anything else from me, look at these qualifying questions, and I'll put them back up again so we can go through them. For those of you on Instagram, you'll have to come over to YouTube, ifindyouclose.com/YouTube, so that you can see. All right. Knowing where you're speaking is going to be very important for those of you. If you are the after dinner speaker, oh boy, oh boy. I don't even know if I should tell you what it's like until it happens to you. But an after dinner speaker is a very different experience than speaking at 9 a.m. in the morning. Speaking after lunch is a very different experience than speaking at 9 a.m. in the morning. I love speaking in the morning. I've been the closing keynote of a gig before. Very different situation. I'm a very nervous speaker, so I like to do it early and be done. But yeah, if I got to sit there the entire day, because I don't eat before I speak, so it makes things a little interesting. So that's why you do want to ask some of these questions. Is to position yourself. Position yourself to negotiate properly. That's going to be the main takeaway that I want you to focus on. You have to position yourself in order to negotiate. And in order to negotiate, you need to know what you're dealing with. That's it. Shut. Pin drop. I don't want to drop it too much because it just messed up my screen and I can't afford to buy a new one. All right, that's all I have for you. My headache is actually kind of going away, so that's great. That's great. I decided to go all plaid, and I'm going to have a series of flannel shirts. Flannel. I've never done flannel before, and I haven't done a button down in a while. So this is like my first button down in like 20 years. See, this is what staying in the basement will do to you. You try out different outfits from Amazon. I'll put it in the links down below if you're interested in this thing. It's actually under $25. Actually, it's pretty cool. It's heavier than what I thought it would be. It hasn't been washed yet, so we'll see what happens then. But so far I'm pleased. I'm very pleased, and it goes all the way down, and it buttons across the front. Only a certain few people will know exactly what I'm talking about. All right, everyone. I have wasted enough of your time. Thank you so very much for being here. So for those of you on Instagram, if you have any questions, all you have to do is put them down in the comment box. And of course, if you are wanting to travel the world as a speaker and you don't know how to get speaking gigs or you don't know where to find them, I actually will send you 20 of them this month. Go ahead and check out iFindYouClothes.com. Give us a sign up. Check us out. No contracts. Cancel whenever you want. But we will send you speaking engagements every Monday. We send you a batch of speaking engagements and something that I've never done before. I know a lot of people who run events and they asked me if I knew anyone. Some of my friends reached out and they were like, hey, I'm looking for speakers. So it's the first time today I sent out an email to all of our active members just saying, hey, I want to give you an introduction to somebody with a speaking gig. And she's looking for 3 speakers. So I'm pretty excited about doing that. And that's something I'm going to incorporate more of when people are looking for speakers. I just send out a blast and just say, hey, I got a gig for you all. So if you need something like that, if you want to start flexing your muscles, or if you have been speaking and you just need a little bit of help in that research department, come check us out over at iFindYouClothes.com. That's what we do. We go find the end of the internet to find all the gigs to bring them to you. Oh my gosh. And with that, I actually got to go do more research tonight. I know. So take care of yourself. I'm going to sign off on Instagram first. Take care of yourself. You know where to find me if you need me. Go to iFindYouClothes.com. Check us out and sign up for your free estimate. Your free estimate to see if you can attract high-paid speaking gigs. Take care of yourself. And all right, for my folks here on YouTube, you know I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Why don't you go ahead and give us a subscribe, because our goal is to get to 1,000 so that I could take you on the road with me and do some really cool things. And yeah, if you want to, yeah, that's just do that. That's all you need to do. Just go ahead, subscribe. Make sure you hit that set reminder, because tomorrow, what are we talking about tomorrow? Ooh, how to tell people you speak. I have a lot of speakers that won't tell other people that they are a speaker. Who does that? Who does that? So we're going to be doing that. So take care of yourself. I will see you tomorrow evening, 5 o'clock, 7 p.m. Eastern. Bye.